Hey guys, Chris Arnone, the Bearded Gamer with the Bearded Gamer Show. We got a chance to visit Red Nova Labs, creators of the brand new iOS game Mystery Ball. Check it out.
Hey guys, Chris Arnone, Editor-in-Chief of the VG Charts Network. We're here at Red Nova Labs in Kansas City, talking with David Howe, who's the creator of the new iOS game called Mystery Ball. David, why don't you just tell the watchers a little bit about yourself?
Sure, Chris. Like you said, my name is David. I grew up in Lawrence, Kansas, home of the KU Jayhawks, and then I went to college at DigiPen in Redmond, Washington, right next to Nintendo. And then after I finished that, I came back here, started a web startup here with a bunch of friends, and we've been doing it ever since. We're getting ready to launch a new games division for Red Nova Labs, and Mystery Ball is going to be the kickoff game for that division, and we're going to get started with it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Red Nova Labs and what else they do? I mean, you're doing the first game, but what else does Red Nova do?
Absolutely, Chris. We started with a platform called StorageFront. It's a self-storage directory where users can go online and find self-storage locations nearby. Perhaps not as fun or exciting as a game as you would expect, but it definitely pays the bills, and we're really proud of it. We've got some other projects that we're getting ready to launch that are all web or app related here in the near future, and so we've kind of done that. We're a tech startup, and we really have, one of the things I'm most proud of with our group is that we're very entrepreneurial type. We've got about 25 employees, and everybody here has that vision of starting and creating and finishing a product from start to finish with a great exuberance for what they put into it.
Very cool. So what was the initial elevator pitch, if you will, for Mystery Ball?
I love elevator pitches. Mystery Ball was going to be, it started out as kind of just a typical ball roller in the essence of, Marble Madness or, Monkey Ball, that kind of a thing. But I wanted to add something that made it different. I love genre clashers, games that kind of meld two different things together. So the elements that make Mystery Ball something different than your typical ball roller predominantly are the doodad system, which allow you collect these doodads, these gadgets and gizmos throughout the game, and then you use them to change the environment. So every level when you start it, you get to place these doodads, whether they be springs, phase shifters that change the dimension that the main character is in, to magnets, to bubble machines, so on and so forth. You get to manipulate the world that you're in and change the way that everything reacts before you get to roll the ball through it and find your way to the exit. So that was kind of the idea when we started, and that's where we're at today.
I also noticed the game has a lot of personality. I got to play your beta a little bit, and the ball's named Fred, and you have this weird sort of mad scientist-looking guy who's giving you instructions. Where did all that come about from?
It's so funny that you asked that, Chris. You see, when I design a game, I always start in some ways from the back and then go forward. So I start with, if you boil everything down and all you have is just gameplay. So again, we're talking about a game with a ball that you roll around. That I started with that, and then I added on different layers. So I suddenly started thinking to myself, we need to have a character, and every game has to have a cute, fun character, I think, for a casual audience. So Fred became this ball that we were going to work with, and then it was like, well, what is his problem? What does he need to overcome? And this fear idea came up, and I said, well, what if he was this amazingly neurotic ball that had all these different crazy fears? So in this game, Fred is afraid of being touched. It's called aphophobia. He also has acrophobia, the fear of heights, and then chronophobia, which is the fear of time, something that probably most people are not afraid of, but Fred certainly is. So as you go through the game, he's collecting these things called bravery badges, and then he's overcoming each of those fears and then gaining and unlocking new abilities. So it just it started as this ball rolling thing and then evolved into this deeply psychological puzzle that the player's trying to figure out, who is Fred, why is he here, why am I here helping him, and who's this professor guy and what's he doing?
Obviously, you take influence from, like you said, Super Monkey Ball, Marble Madness. I'm wondering what other games and what other things outside of gaming are influencing Mystery Ball?
My wife would be a big one. She's been a big part of every game I've created. Curator Defense is a tower defense game I made about 6 years ago, where the museum curator is trying to prevent modern art from getting into his museum. He really loves the Renaissance and that time period, so he's preventing modern art from sneaking in. And that was her idea. I had this tower defense idea back before tower defense was a thing, and I wanted to build a game about it, but then she helped me provide that cute wrapper. So she's been a big influencer in the project. But beyond that, other games that have been kind of I'd like to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The Incredible Machine by Sierra back in the early 90s was a big part of the gadgets and the doodads. I want to do something like that. There's a contraptions game that's come out recently for iOS. I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's a phenomenal game that I've used some parts from it as well, from an influencer perspective. But then also Monkey Ball is a big part of it. I always grew up with Monkey Ball. Now, of course, that's a tilt-to-play type game, and we're not doing that. That's one thing that people always say when they play the game first. I expected it to be a tilt roller, and it's not. It's a swipe play. I felt that gave the player more control. There's all these enemies that are in the game, and a lot of, you need to have precision to get through some of the puzzles, and I really wanted to have with a touch device, give the player every edge they could get instead of have that more of a gimmicky type, I think, in this type of a situation control scheme.
All right, well, that answered my last question, too. So why don't we take a look around Red Nova and take a look at the game. Great.
Welcome. So you want to know a little more about my little experiment? Well, you've come to the right place. I call my test subject Fred. Pleasant enough, no? But Fred has a severe anxiety. You see, he suffers from aphophobia, acrophobia, and chronophobia. Put simply, these are the fear of being touched, the fear of heights, and the fear of time. But who isn't? This is where you come in. With your help, Fred will conquer his fears while traveling through multiple worlds. You'll encounter handy doodads to help you to jump, to travel, and even to trap enemies. The word of caution, enemies, they lurk around every corner. With each new world and obstacle, Fred will get closer to conquering his fears. I've placed bravery badges throughout the worlds, and as Fred collects them, he'll be able to be handled, fly, and even to manipulate time itself. Help Fred in this little experiment of mine, and perhaps even you will learn a little something about yourself.
So this is our basement. We bought this building about 8 months ago, and one of the really cool things that we've done here, we do something called Venture Fridays, where every Friday, one Friday of each month, we put together a place for entrepreneurs to kind of come, meet, share, collaborate ideas, and then we've got free beverages and cocktail hour for everyone as well. Usually from 4 to 6, we host that on meetup.com. So this is a great place for people to kind of meet each other and see what's going on. Chris will take you back here. We've got a lot of our conference material that we've been working on. We go to a lot of trade shows for the self-storage industry as well, and then we're getting ready to go to PubCon here soon, I think, to host Mystery Ball and launch it at that event. Indiecade, things like that. We want to do some game development as well. If I take you upstairs now, this room that we have here is what we call Endeavor, and it's really a fun space for our entire team to kind of get and work. A lot of our creative people are here. So we've got marketing, PR people, we've got video editing, project management, SEO, programmers. They're all in one space, which we thought was a really unique approach to a web shop, a game shop, whatever have you. Most people segment out the programmers into a basement by themselves, and then they'll put the marketing people in this really nice area with windows so they can see outside, and the sales guys are off by themselves. Exactly. So we just figured let's create just a creative space with some neat lighting that kind of reflects off and has more of a natural feel to it. So we've also created these different cubbies where people can kind of collaborate and meet off the cuff and kind of get together and shout out some different ideas, eat some food and so on and so forth. We also have a beverage program here where people can kind of get some soda or coffee throughout the day that the company comps.
All right, everybody, so that was our visit to Red Nova Labs, creators of the brand new iOS game Mystery Ball. Looks very exciting. It is out right now. So get on your iPhones, your iPads, get on iTunes, go download it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great game.